doing? Come on, Gus. Do you want to say hi? Just since we got on, oh gosh, she's like dumping everything over. The goose came. This is my dog. His name is Gus. We also call him Goose because he's like mostly white, and then he has his black eye patches. Sometimes we also call him Dobby, like Harry Potter.
That's cute.
He looks at you and he's like, "I'm a house elf. Let me love you." Hi, Gus. Okay, thank you. Go again. Or lay right there. Just don't like my face. We've made it to Tuesday. My hair is falling out and it's going to annoy me, so I'm going to tug it. We'll see how it goes. Today's theme.
What
Shut
to
down.
do? Shut down. Shut it
And
down.
I think like what to do when you're shut down. First things first is you have to know that it's happening. And of all the steps of working through this idea of shutdown, knowing what the hell it is, knowing that it's you, and embracing and accepting that it's happening, and then you can do the other things. But those first three things are really hard. Are really, really, really hard. And hi, I'm Jasmine. And I lived a pretty significant part of my life as a very extroverted, shutdown person.
Tell us more.
And I want to, thank you for asking. Well, thank you for asking. So, my life story. I will tell you the full story. This will be a whole episode of our podcast. But to give you guys a short snippet, when I was little, I experienced trauma as a child. Trauma that made me not feel. And not feel as in feelings. And this is where I talk about the idea of knowing that you're shut down is really hard. Because usually we create this shutdown behavior when we're children. And this is not a dig on your parents. It's not a dig on my parents. It's not a dig on any parent. This is just an experience that, in my opinion, I created a contract that this is something that I was going to work through before I came to this. But that's a whole also different podcast episode as to why it happens. But I just wanted to this is not a hate on your parents kind of thing. But something happens to you as a child, and at that time you create this coping mechanism. And one of those coping mechanisms is shutting down and just going so deep within that nothing can bother you. And that's what happened for me. I went so deep within that I actually feel like I shut, like feeling touch off. And so my whole life I felt touch in a certain way. And as I've gone through this journey of energy work, I started to realize, and it was hard because it's kind of like, how do you know how someone else feels something? Well, you can't really ever know. Like, I can try to explain it in words, but like, I can't ever really know how you see the color pink or purple. I can't ever really know how you feel touch. And everyone feels that differently. But when you're shut down, I think the only way, and I mean, I don't know that I have the answer, and I'm curious your thoughts, Jenny. For me, the only way that I started to realize I was shut down was by experiencing not being shut down. By feeling for the first time. Like when you're blind, you don't know that you're blind until you see. You don't know how blind you are until you put glasses on for the first time. Until you see the crispy leaves. And that was for me. Like I didn't know how much I didn't feel until I really felt. And that was a process that took time for me to get there. But if you are wandering around and you're like, wow, why is everyone so excited about this thing and I am not excited about it? That was kind of my sign. Like, why is everyone, and I'm going to talk about sex, as my mom says hi. Why? That's fun. Hi. No, my mom always listens, so it's fine, guys. Don't be embarrassed for me. Why is everyone talking about this, but I'm not really into it? Like, what's happening here? And at first, you think you're broken, so you're like, okay, well, maybe it's just my partner. Maybe it's who I'm with. Nope, that's not it. And you go through all these phases and all these different places. So if you are desperately trying, like, here's your sign number 2. If everyone's excited about something, you want to feel it, so you're desperately trying by any means possible to feel what other people are feeling, and you're thinking you're broken. Like, that's another sign that you're shut down. So that was my sign number 2 in my life, if we're keeping track of all the reasons why I started to realize I was shut down. And so I started to do drastic things to like feel, and I just thought I was broken. That's actually the real story, the real, like the real tea of why Jasmine got into energy work, is because I wanted to enjoy sex the way that other people talked about it. Like, I don't know. I think there's sayings that talk about like sex rules the universe, right? Like, it's really everything. That's the reason I got into energy work. I wanted to feel it like everyone else did. And I learned that I was missing out on a whole bunch of stuff because I actually didn't even really feel when people would touch me at all. Like, not in the way that after years of meditation, therapy, and all the kind of stuff that I've been doing has opened me up to feeling. Okay, I'm going to be quiet and I'm curious how you're feeling. What are your thoughts, Jenny?
With you or this topic in general?
The world is your oyster. You can choose.
I'm going to keep it general. Because we have talked about this quite a bit. We did just have a really interesting awareness that I think would be a private conversation for my sake. But okay, so for me, for shutdown and that awareness, what Jasmine says, is really, really important. For me, when I know I'm getting to the point of shutdown, is this like so overwhelmed, and I'm trying to think of all the things, and I've got to figure it all out right now.
Yeah.
And I
think that's like a new version. So like I think we're making this transition from old shutdown, like from past like super old shutdown, to like you're shutting down right now.
Yeah. And it's just this like total feeling of overwhelm. There's anxiety, there's stress, there's just like almost like running around. For me anyway, I kind of like run around with like a chicken with their head cut off. It's like, oh, over here. Oh wait, maybe over here. And it's like Jasmine's just like, Jenny, you're grounded. Sit down. Sit down and shut up. With her hearts. So that's kind of like for me, precursor to shutting down is this like, I've got to figure out all the things and fix all the things right now. And there's just no possible way to do that. I mean, who do I think I am? Like,
yeah, because you're taking the whole idea of shutdownness is that you have taken on so much that literally you can't do anymore.
Mm-mm.
All the screens are popping and you cannot do.
Yeah.
Anymore.
50 tabs open and they all have pop-ups happening. You're like listening to a podcast and music and your kids and like it's like
and TV and the dogs barking and
yes. And so for me, it really is like okay, I need to stop, collaborate and listen. But no, I really need to stop. Like, okay, stop, Jenny. And usually it requires going outside or picking up my drum or taking a nap. But like, I have to stop. I really, really have to stop and take, instead of like this like view that's like this, it's like, okay, overview, let's take a total view. Yeah. What's the most important thing? What do I have control and power over right now? What do I really want to work on? And what really matters? Does it really matter?
I was going to be like, oh, pause, Jenny. Like, what do I really want to work on? And what shit doesn't even matter?
Yeah.
What do I want to work on and what shit doesn't matter? Because you can't solve world hunger at 3 a.m. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's not, I mean, as much as I wish that's to be true, that kind of thing gets you shut down. So I want to read the comments real quick here. Hang on. My mom's going to say something. My mom starts this with, I don't mean to embarrass you. I was having sex with my partner, but I am going through a change of life and sometimes you don't miss it. Yeah. I do what I should do. But I do what I should do. Sex is such a, we can spend a long time on this topic. I hear you. I see you. It's rough out there. I've not gone through that, obviously, because you're my mom and you're older than me and you're going through that, but I hear you. Everything feels like an emergency, and then, yeah. Okay. So we've talked a little bit thus far, recapping for people, ways that you can sign. We've been spending the last few minutes talking about this, so if you're interested and you weren't listening at the beginning, kind of go back when this is over and see. These are some kind of, here's your sign that you're in the shutdown space. That's what we've been talking about. I want to talk about, Jenny, for a second, 2 more things before we end this. Well, I almost said Marco Polo. Before we end this live, I really want to talk about some ways that you can start to pull yourself out, because obviously that's like really important. And also I want to talk about like what happens in your body and why it's important. So maybe we can talk about that first. Why is it important that you do this? Why is it important that you shut down? And this is actually like, this why thing is why I wanted to talk about this topic today. And this is just like truth day for Jasmine. I'm just going to like lay it all out there. So I was talking about my journey and kind of how I got shut down in the beginning. And I had a lot of like, of course, childhood stuff and blah, blah, blah. And now as I've been on this journey of healing and connecting to myself, I realized how much, because I was shut down, I wasn't listening to my body. I was eating shitty food. I was not paying attention to the things at all that were going into my body. I wasn't probably exercising properly. I just was not taking care of this beautiful vessel that is wielding me through life. And I plan to live to be 108. So I got to get my shit together. That's my number, by the way, 108.
Me too. That's totally my number. Right here. Can we make it happen?
I don't know. So anyway. So when you want to live, like for me, it's not that I would feel like my clock's ticking because I'm not anywhere near 108, but I want to be like a healthy badass 108 too. You know what I mean? Like I want to be running a marathon and then the next day just kill over. So you know what I mean? Like I gotta like take care of my body. And before we got on this, we were teaching Rising and we're talking about our life story, and it's like I literally wrote in my life story, I want energy to flow through my body. I want to feel good in my body. I don't want to feel achy. I don't want to feel like I'm constipated. I don't want to feel like I can't eat. I want energy and product to flow through poo, if you didn't catch the hint, to flow through my body. And I want to feel good. I want to feel like how I felt when my body was shut down, but like better. And I'm kind of in this very shitty phase of like, my body doesn't feel great because I ignored it for such a long time that it's kind of a little broken right now. And I gotta do some maintenance work because I was shut down for such a long time.
Yeah. It puts you in a fight or flight freeze state of mind.
Absolutely.
And when you're in that, your adrenals are constantly pumping cortisol into your body. And cortisol is the stress hormone. It causes you to gain weight. It makes it so you can't sleep at night. It fogs up your brain so you can't think properly. And when you're in fight or flight and freeze, your body cannot get in rest and digest. So we don't digest our food, so it runs right through us, or it stops up instead of being able to digest and pull nutrients out. So when you're getting ready to shut down, your body literally will start shutting down, and you will not sleep well. You won't have good poop. You won't be able to focus clearly. You won't be able to sleep very well. Like, these are all very visceral, real signs and symptoms that you gotta stop. Legit, stop. What
Your
you're
body
doing,
will stop you.
it will stop you. You'll get sick. You'll like really get sick, physically get sick.
Yeah.
Or have a mental emotional break. That's real
Absolutely.
too. Hi, happened to me. And it's like then you can't handle anything.
Mhm.
And it's the dumbest analogy, but it's one everybody gets. And so we continue to use it, and that's I guess why it's a cliche, right? But the whole like when you're on an airplane and the air masks come down, they always say put the air mask on yourself first, right? Before you help your neighbors and your children or whatever. Because if you're not breathing, how can you help anybody else?
Absolutely. And
And
it's
that's why
funny.
self-care isn't selfish.
And it's funny to me because literally the reason that we always get is, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy taking care of this person or that person or whatever. So if any of this is vibing with you, if any of you are like, preach, yes, I'm here, here's your sign to stop. You have to take care of you. If you want to live to 108, if you want to even just live until you have grandbabies, you gotta take care of yourself. Sarah says, my sign is everything seems to be overwhelming. Like the red plate instead of the blue plate will irritate me. Yeah. Anger, yes. Anger. So when we talk traditional Chinese medicine, anger is the emotion after fear. And it's the emotion that tells us that something needs to change. So if you're experiencing irrational anger or just anger, like just really big anger, it means that something needs to change in your life. Not realizing all of the time in my life I've been shut down. Yeah. It's rough. Like I've been on my journey for a bit when I realized how shut down I was. It was a really pretty dramatic moment when that happened for me. So I hear you. I hear and see. And I think that it's also a really beautiful moment though. Like probably one of my favorite moments in my whole spiritual journey, and is realizing that, because it's like I walked out of that moment and it was like, oh, I just felt the wind different. And it was like so beautiful, because the moment you realize that you're shut down is the moment you start to notice that things are different. It's the moment that you're aware and open enough to actually receive. It's your soul awakening, friend. And you get to have more than one of those.
Yes.
Plug Soul Awakening Retreat.
Yes.
Jen says, definitely the struggle for me, but I'm always so tired. Are you really tired? Or are you exhausted at life? Have you been in fight or flight for such a long time that you literally do not have the energy? You're not actually sleeping. You're just like sitting.
Okay, so I want to share a tip. And Jen, I think you do know. I think you do know. You maybe just don't want to look at it yet. And that's okay.
It's
Okay if
okay.
you're not looking at it. And it's a downward moving spiral. Like anytime you shut down, it's like, well, but then I want to do this, but then I can't do that, but then there's this, then I should be doing that, but blah, 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 and it just like this is the path of the shutdown. Is it spirals and spirals and spirals until it implodes.
Until it's like a shit storm of crazy.
Yes. So I want to give everybody a little tool. This is one of my favorite tools to use. And I just play with it and see. And just for a minute, the ego, just go, okay, just sit in the back seat for a minute. I'm just going to like this might feel and seem weird, but we're just going to play. We're just going to try it on just for funsies. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what
For today. Just for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, first of all, I want you to take your hands by your head, and I want you to take all the stacks of hats that you wear, however high it is, right? We got mom, we got wife, we got sister, we got daughter, we got neighbor, coworker, we got mom, we got chef, we got taxi, we've got, like, you name whatever it is, hat that you're wearing, and I just want you to, for a second, lift them all off of your head and just set them down. You can pick them up later if you want, but all of the hats, all of the jobs that you are, right? And if you needed one at a time, oh, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. Oh, I'm the mom, and I'm the chauffeur, and I'm the cleaning lady, and I'm the laundry lady, and I'm the, like, all the things. Okay, just take the hats off. Okay. And next, I want you to imagine all the people's responsibilities and burdens that you're carrying right here on your shoulders. And I just want you to pick them up and set them down next to the hats. And then kind of brush off the crumbs. Like, get it out of your hair if you got lots of hair. Like, everybody's stuff that you're carrying because you care, because you love them, and you want to help them, and you just see, and you could, and blah, blah, blah. Not my responsibility right now, just for the next 5 minutes. Just take them off, okay? And then I want you to, like,
no one's gonna die.
No one's gonna die.
I'm not being these things for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No one's gonna
and
die.
then just like notice how it feels to, like, shake it off. And maybe I even kind of feel like there's some shoes that maybe need to be shooken off. Shooken, if that's a word, right? Like, whose shoes are you trying to walk in? Whose shoes are you trying to fill? And I've got to be like this, and I got to step this way, and I got to look that way, and I got to act this way, and I got to blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just kick those shoes off too. Like, all of those shoes, kick them off, and then kind of do a little shake and be, like, wild and free for a second. Like, this is just me. How does it feel? Ooh, I'm like getting the truth chills. Oh, feels so good. Because I'm also in the middle of a shutdown right now. So I'm like, not my responsibility. Take off those hats, take those shoes. Whoop. And now it's just me, wild and How does that feel?
Feels good, man. It feels good. All of this shiz, we have to decompress it. We have to let it go. We have to just say, holy fuck, that has been so heavy. And even something so simple as just saying, it needs to go there.
Just for now, I'm going to set it down. Just for now, I'm going to kick them off. So, this is one very simple tool. And it's one I do I try to do every day. It's like, okay, before I go to bed, it's like, whoop, everybody's shit that I've been holding on to, I'm just going to let it go. But we're going to really dive into this in Soul Awakening Retreat.
Yeah, before we pop into that, real quick, Jenny.
Yeah.
So, another tip for those who maybe are not as wild and dancey, and this is something that I'm really adding into my practice, and I learned it from one of my coaches, is you lay in bed, and everyone, I just want you to take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and the first thing what I want you to do in your mind, you're not going to say it out loud, in your mind, I want you to say your name. And then I want you to scream your name as if you were yelling at a child who is trying to cross the street and about to get run over. And just calling all of that back as you say your name. Calling all of that back. Just saying your name a few more times. Calling all of your energy back. Calling all the parts of you back into your body. Taking a deep breath in. And out. as you do that, you're going to feel your skin start to tingle a little bit. And just, I envision sending all of the energy that is not mine back with light and love to its source, its creator. And I'm going to recommend that you do this every night. Every night before you go to bed. Calling all of your energy back because we don't want to be a burden on anyone else. We also want all the parts of us because we're pretty fucking awesome. Calling all of that energy back into your body and then just giving back what doesn't belong to you. And we did that all together in like maybe 1 minute. And how good did that feel? Like, who thought that was fucking tastic? Fucking tastic. That's a new word. Awesome. Jenny's going to do some Palo Santo. You don't need to have the crazy tools, but if you have the crazy tools, they're beautiful for a reason. They're beautiful for a reason. I have my altar hanging out. This is my altar space. It moves. I can't tip it because it's going to mess it up, but I have some for me and for this particular purpose of just being joy in who I am. This is a golden Aura quartz that I'm dying over, and it has a little bee on it, which is like all about having like fun and shit. That's my like reminder to pull back all of me in my
sweet honey.
Clear that aura out. Clear it out. Bring me back and clear it out. Okay.
That was powerful.
Now that we've talked about what shutdown is, we've talked about why you don't want to be that. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. And just a couple little tips on how to start to transition that super simply. Let's go deeper. Like, let's talk about how we're going to go deeper. Jenny, I'm going to put a comment. I'm going to put a little link in the comments while you start to talk about that.
So we have our Soul Awakening retreat coming up next month in Lava Hot Springs, magical Lava Hot Springs. And it is going to be, it's during the autumnal equinox. So it's like we're moving from light into darkness, right? That's what the autumn equinox is all about. It's like we're moving away from summer and the light nights into the dark days.
Which I love the dark days. So don't like, it's okay.
It's
we'll
really
get there.
It's been really hard for me. I used to struggle with SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which is depression in those dark days. And it was really because I did not understand that darkness is beauty and the shadow is not something we need to shun. These dark parts, these shameful parts that we feel ashamed of or guilty about are actually our gifts in disguise. And a lot of times the shutdown comes because we are shutting down our gifts, because we are shutting down these parts of us that are integral to our whole being. But we're shutting them down, we're shunning them, and so we feel chaotic and crazy and overwhelmed because we aren't whole. We're only trying to focus on I did good at this, I'm good at that, only show this side of you. Oh, this is my angle. Right? Don't let anybody see this other angle. It gets hard. It gets hard to hide parts of you that are you.
Well, and as you get older, there's more shit.
Just compiles. And you keep trying to shove it in the closet or under the bed, and eventually it can all come crashing out and down. And it can manifest as disease. It can manifest as physical diseases. It can manifest as broken relationships. It manifests as a whole bunch of different things. But Soul Awakening is where we're going to go really deep into this and open up and allow yourself that permission to play in that dark space and to really embrace and love it. And not be overwhelmed by it, not shun it and shut it down and hide it away from the world. So this is who I am.
It's me. I'm here. And today we're not asking you to decide to come to the retreat. If you do, that would be fantastic. But what we really are wanting to call attention to is nominating someone.
Who do you know? Yeah. Who do you know that has been shut down, that has felt overwhelmed and stressed and anxious and just so chaotic in life, that could really use a weekend retreat, healing, loving, compassion, fun, good
Who do you
food?
know? Who is your friend that you need to nominate to get this free getaway, this free weekend in Lava? The dates are the 22nd through the 25th in Lava, Hot Springs, Idaho, just not very far from where we are. Who is that for you? Who do you want to enjoy that weekend? And again, it's not about us saying, "Hey, come join us." Although we would love it if you did, but we really want you to think about who do you feel like needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And filling out this quick, short little, it's not a big form, but we need to have something because we got to pick. You have to pick who. Fill out the form. If you filled it out in the past, I just have a tiny little ask because we had a back end issue and the forms did not save. As much as I hate to say that. So you can go and refill it out. And you can even put in there, refill out. I was that committed that I came back and I refilled it out. So fill out the form and the attached link. You can also look at the dates of the retreat. And if you're just like, you know what, I'm not even going to leave it to chance and you want to join us at the retreat, you can also put your deposit down there too.
Yay. Okay.
I'm excited. Nominate your friend. We're going to leave nominations open till the 1st of September so that we give the person enough time to plan. So you have until 1 September, 12 p.m. Yeah, 12 a.m.
Midnight.
The nighttime. Sometimes I know a lot of things, but there's like stupid stuff that I'm like, what does that even mean? 12 o'clock in the nighttime, all on September 1st, and then we will pick the winner and announce it after that. I don't want to commit to a time because sometimes we get busy and we forget for a couple of days.
We will announce that first week of September. The person will find out much sooner than we announce to everybody else.
First week-ish. I like ish.
First weekish of September. So nominate your friends, that sweet friend that you just love, that just does everything for everybody, but is just not taking care of themselves. But you can see they're struggling, and you just want to give back to them. You can also nominate yourself.
You are a sweet friend to yourself.
Yes.
And you can nominate more than one person.
Yep.
Also, you can do that. Okay. We love you guys so much.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
I was going to say see you next Tuesday, but that's not very nice. We will see you next week on Tuesday at 8-ish.
Yeah, around 8-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Love you guys.